Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Asian style beef and cabbage. Instead of using noodles for like a lo mein style dish, I like to use shredded cabbage because it is low carb and full of nutrients rather than using a low carb style noodle. Now, this is a really easy recipe that's great for like a 15-minute quick dinner. I have some shredded cabbage. This is a shredded cabbage and carrot mix, or like a coleslaw mix. If you want to shred your cabbage on your own, go ahead and do so, but I don't like to do that, so that's why I like to get it pre-shredded. And this is what I'm gonna be using instead of my noodles. Now, for the beef, I have some fajita style beef. This is already pre-sliced. If you want, you can also get like a New York strip or a skirt steak and thinly slice it. Really, however you like your beef is fine. And we're going to season it and let it sit while we cook the cabbage. So let's go ahead and season. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some garlic. Now, this is some pressed garlic. If you want to use the one that's in the jar, marinated is fine. If you want to use grated, if you don't want to use any garlic, whatever you want to do is fine. But I like to add the garlic. It gives some nice flavor to the beef. With my garlic, I'm also going to use some gochujang paste. Now, this does have some sugar in it, so don't go too crazy. So I like to use about a teaspoon. But a little goes a long way for this entire dish, so it's really not noticeable in terms of a carb count. I'm also gonna add some less sodium soy sauce. You can use some coconut aminos. I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of the soy sauce. If you're using coconut aminos, only add about 1.5 tablespoons, only because it's a little bit sweeter than soy sauce, so you don't wanna overpower the flavor. I'm also gonna add some sesame oil, just a couple of dashes. It's really just for flavor. You don't have to use the sesame oil if you don't want to. Now, I'm gonna add a few sesame seeds to our beef, but I'm also gonna top it at the very end. I just like to marinate the steak with the sesame seeds because it adds some flavor as well. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt because we did use the low sodium soy sauce. If you're using regular sodium soy sauce, then don't add any extra salt because it could be overpowering. I would cook and then add the salt to taste as you're cooking because you don't wanna overdo it. You can always add extra salt, but you can never take away. I'm also gonna add some white pepper. You could add black pepper if you wanted, but the black pepper is a little bit overpowering, so I recommend using white pepper if you have that. And a couple of the flakes of red pepper flakes, and we're just going to give this a good mix. Let's set this aside to marinate and jump into cooking our cabbage. I'm using a large pan and I'm heating it to medium heat. I'm gonna take some avocado oil and we're going to cover the bottom of the pan. Just a little bit, about 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. And once my oil is nice and hot, I'm gonna throw in the cabbage. Throwing in the cabbage. And I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. This is gonna help get that moisture out of the cabbage and let it really sweat. We're going to cook our cabbage, stirring occasionally to let it really soften and sweat out all the moisture. That's gonna make it as close to noodle-like as we can. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and also like this video. I've cut the heat. The cabbage has softened really nicely. It's been about 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm gonna take the cabbage out of the pan and we're just gonna set it aside for a moment. I've turned the pan back on to medium heat, add a little bit of extra oil, and we're gonna throw in our steak to let it cook. I also like my steak in these strips, like fajita strips. If you want, you could cut it into smaller chunks or you could do it shredded. Really, however you like your steak, that's how you can use it. You wanna make sure your steak is cooking evenly, so just use some tongs and flip it so that it cooks evenly on all sides. My beef is cooked, so I'm gonna add the cabbage back in. Lower the heat to a low medium heat, and we're gonna mix this all together to let all of those flavors combine. At this stage, we're gonna add a little bit of sweetness. I'm gonna use erythrytol. If you wanna use regular sugar, go ahead and do that. If you wanna use honey, you can do that. But I like to add about a teaspoon of sugar. That just really balances out the flavor without adding any carbs. And the erythrytol has a really mild flavor. You don't really taste it. It's most similar to sugar. You could use monk fruit as well. And it just adds a nice touch to this dish. Let's combine all of that together. Let's add a little bit more soy sauce, about a teaspoon more. And give this about another minute to cook. And that is it. Less than 15 minutes for Asian style beef and cabbage. Super easy recipe, a great go-to for dinner, and I love meal prepping this one for lunch. I cannot wait to do a taste test. Let's get a nice bit of our cabbage, some of that beef. Cheers. That is so simple and a really great alternative to Chinese takeout, like a beef lo mein or a beef and cabbage. I love this one because it's so easy. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also hit that notification bell to never miss a tasty upload. Till next time.